Right now, I'm sitting in my office, coffee in hand, looking at numbers I used to dream about. 7 figures. Yeah, I made it. But if you saw me a year ago, man, you wouldn't believe we're the same person. I was exhausted, broke, running on caffeine and cheap food, working a job I hated and barely keeping it together. And the craziest part, I was busy all day, but getting nowhere. Wake up, work, scroll, sleep, repeat. Every single day. One night, I got home late, dropped my bag on the floor, and just sat there in silence. No TV, no music, just me and my thoughts. And that's when it hit me. If I keep living like this, nothing's going to change. I grabbed my phone and started calculating. 18 hours. That's how much time I had if I cut everything else out. No distractions, no excuses, just work, sleep, repeat. I laughed at first. There's no way I can do that. But then another voice kicked in. Or maybe this is exactly what you need. So I made a decision that night. For the next year, I was going all in. No parties, no wasting time, no comfort zone. Just 18 hours a day of pure grind. I didn't have a perfect plan. All I knew was this. I was going to build something online. I was going to learn fast, and I was not going back to the life I had before. The next morning, everything changed. Alarm at 5 a.m. No snooze, no hesitation. That was day one, and I had no idea that decision was about to change my entire life. Day one felt easy. Motivation was high, energy was there, I was locked in. I woke up at 5 a.m., made coffee, opened my laptop, and just started working. No overthinking, no distractions, just action. But day three, that's when reality hit. I was tired, like really tired. My eyes were burning, my head hurt, my body felt heavy, and for the first time I thought, what did I just sign up for? 18 hours a day isn't just working a lot. It's cutting out everything. No Netflix, no hanging out, no scrolling for hours, no lazy mornings. Just work, eat, work, sleep, repeat. My schedule looked insane. 5 a.m. wake up, 5:30 start working, 10 a.m. quick food break, 10:30 back to work, 3 p.m. coffee, maybe 10 minutes, 3:10 work again, 9 p.m. last push, 11 p.m. pass out, and then do it all over again. The first week was brutal. I wasn't making money yet. I was just learning, watching tutorials, testing ideas, failing over and over again. I tried everything. Drop shipping, freelancing, content creation, affiliate marketing. Most of it didn't work at all. I remember one night around 10 p.m. staring at my screen after a full day of work, $0 earned. I leaned back, rubbed my face, and just whispered, "Man, is this even worth it?" That was the first real test. Because motivation, it fades fast. What stays is discipline. So I kept going, day after day, even when I was tired, even when I was frustrated, even when nothing was working. Around week 3, something small happened, and I mean small. I made my first $27 online. I stared at the screen like it was $1 million. Wait, someone actually paid me? It wasn't life-changing money. But it was proof that this whole thing could work. That $27 hit different, because now it wasn't just effort, it was momentum. I remember smiling for the first time in weeks, leaning back in my chair and thinking, all right, we're on to something. But I had no idea how much harder it was about to get. That $27? Yeah, it felt amazing. For about a day. Then reality came back, because one small win doesn't change your life. Consistency does. So I kept going. Same routine, same grind, same 18-hour days. But now it felt heavier. Weeks turned into a blur. I stopped checking the time, stopped caring about weekends, stopped even noticing what day it was. It was just work, eat, work, sleep. And then burnout hit. Hard. I remember one night, around 2 a.m., sitting in front of my laptop. The screen was glowing, but my brain? Completely blank. I couldn't think, couldn't focus, couldn't even remember what I was doing. I just sat there, staring. I can't do this. That thought hit me out of nowhere. For the first time since I started, I actually believed it. I stood up, walked to the kitchen, grabbed some water, and leaned against the counter. Everything felt pointless. I had been grinding for weeks, barely sleeping, barely living. And for what? A few dollars? I looked at myself in the mirror. Dark circles, tired eyes, zero energy. I didn't look like someone becoming successful. I looked like someone falling apart. That night, I seriously thought about quitting. I could just go back to normal life. Wake up, go to work, chill, repeat. Safe, easy, predictable. But then something hit me. Hard. I imagined myself a year from now, still in the same job, still complaining, still wishing things were different. That scared me more than the grind. So I made a deal with myself. Not a year, not forever, just one more day. Just get through tomorrow. And that's what saved me. Because one day turned into two. Two turned into a week. And slowly I started to feel it again. Momentum. Around that time, one of my projects started picking up. Not crazy, not viral, but consistent. $50, $80, $120 days. It wasn't about the money anymore. It was about the signal. Something was working. And that tiny spark, that's what kept me going. Because deep down, I knew, if I quit now, I'd never know how far I could have gone. And I wasn't ready to live with that.
Those $50, $80, $120 days, they didn't look like much on paper. But to me, that was everything. Because for the first time, it wasn't random. It was consistent. I wasn't guessing anymore. I wasn't throwing ideas at the wall hoping something would stick. I had something that actually worked. I doubled down immediately, no hesitation. If something made me $100, I asked, how do I make this $300? If something worked once, I turned it into a system. My days got even more intense. 18 hours turned into, honestly, it felt like 24. I optimized everything, cut distractions to zero, automated small tasks, reinvested every dollar back into the business, tested new ideas every single day. I became obsessed, not in a healthy way, but in a way that gets results. Then one day, everything changed. I woke up, checked my phone like usual, half asleep, and froze. $1,042 in one day. I blinked, refreshed the page, still there. My heart started racing. No way. No way this is real. Just a few weeks ago, I was celebrating $27. Now, over $1,000 in a single day. I jumped out of bed, pacing around my room like a maniac, laughing, shaking. This is it. This is the breakthrough. That day changed everything. Not just because of the money, but because of what it proved. The system worked. I wasn't stuck anymore. I wasn't guessing. I had figured something out. From that point on, things started scaling fast. 1K days turned into multiple 1K days. Weeks started bringing in more money than I used to make it a month at my job. And the craziest part? I was still working those same 18-hour days. But now it felt different. Before, it was pain. Now it was momentum. I wasn't forcing myself anymore. I was chasing growth. I remember sitting there one night, looking at my numbers and thinking, if I keep this up, this could actually hit 6 figures, maybe even $1 million. For the first time, that idea didn't feel crazy. It felt possible. And once you start believing something is possible, everything changes. That first $1,000 day, it changed everything. Not just the money, my mindset. Because once you make your first 1K in a day, something clicks in your brain. Wait, I can do this again. And I did. Again, and again, and again. Soon, 1K days weren't rare anymore. They became normal. I scaled everything, put more money into ads, improved my offers, optimized my content, built systems that ran while I worked. I wasn't just grinding anymore. I was building a machine. Weeks started looking insane. 5,000, 8,000, sometimes even 12,000 in a week. I remember checking my dashboard one Sunday night, adding everything up, and just sitting there in silence. I used to make this in 2 months. Now I was making it in a week. But here's the part nobody talks about. As the money grows, so does the pressure. Now it wasn't just, can I make money? It became, can I keep this going? I started feeling it, that weight. What if this stops? What if I lose everything? What if this is just luck? Those thoughts hit hard, especially late at night. I'd be sitting in my room, laptop open, numbers looking great, but my mind racing. Because when you start making real money, you realize how easy it is to lose it. So I leveled up again. I didn't relax. I got smarter. I tracked every dollar. I cut what didn't work. I doubled down on what did. I built backups, safety nets, multiple streams. I stopped thinking like someone trying to make it and started thinking like someone trying to keep it. By month 10, I crossed $500,000 total, $500,000, in less than a year. I remember just staring at the screen. No reaction at first, just silence. Then I leaned back and laughed, not because it was funny, because it felt unreal. From broke to $500,000. And I knew something in that moment. There's no way I'm stopping now, because the million, it wasn't a dream anymore. It was right there.
Month 11. I was close, really close. $720,000, $780,000, $840,000. Every week the number kept climbing. But instead of feeling relaxed, I felt more pressure than ever. Because now it wasn't just a dream, it was right there. One final push. And for some reason, that's the hardest part. I started working even harder. If before it was 18 hours a day, now it felt like I was pushing past my limits. Less sleep, more coffee, more focus. I cut out everything again, even the little breaks I used to take. It was tunnel vision. One night, I remember sitting in front of my laptop, eyes burning, completely exhausted. Numbers were moving, campaigns running, messages coming in. Everything was working, but I felt empty. I leaned back, closed my eyes, and thought, is this really what it takes? Because success looks amazing from the outside, but on the inside, it's pressure, responsibility, risk. I thought about quitting again, not going back to my old life, just slowing down. But then I looked at the numbers again. $912,000. So close. I laughed quietly and shook my head. Nah, we didn't come this far to stop now. That last stretch, it was brutal. Every decision mattered. Every move had weight. But I trusted the system I built. The same system that took me from $0 to this. And then, one random night, just like any other, I refreshed my dashboard. $1,003,591. I froze. No reaction, no movement, just staring at the screen. This is it. After a year of 18-hour days, no breaks, no shortcuts, no quitting, I did it. I leaned back in my chair, exhaled slowly, and just smiled. Not because of the money, because I proved something to myself. I can go all in.
I can push past limits. I can build something from nothing. And once you realize that, you're unstoppable.
Now I'm sitting here. Same laptop, same coffee, but a completely different life. $1 million plus after 1 year of working 18 hours a day. And the craziest part? It still doesn't feel real sometimes. I look around my space, clean, quiet, no stress, no pressure like before. And I think back to where it all started. The late nights, the burnout, the moments I almost quit. That version of me? Tired, broke, doubting everything. If I could go back and talk to him, I'd say, don't stop. You're closer than you think. Because that's the truth nobody tells you. Success doesn't happen when you feel ready. It happens when you keep going anyway. Most people quit when it gets hard. I almost did too, more than once. But every time I wanted to quit, I just told myself, one more day. And that's how this whole thing happened. Not in one big moment, but in hundreds of small ones. One more day, one more push, one more try. That's what builds everything. Now people ask me, how did you make your first million? And I don't say luck. I don't say talent. I say this. I worked when I didn't want to. I kept going when it sucked, and I didn't quit. Because at the end of the day, that's the difference. I look at the numbers again. 7 figures. But the money? That's not even the best part. The best part is who I became in the process. Disciplined, focused, relentless. Because once you build that version of yourself, you can do it again, and again, and again. I take a sip of coffee, lean back and smile. From broke to $1 million in 1 year. And the journey? It's just getting started.
Before you go, hit that like button and subscribe for more unbelievable stories just like this one. See you in the next story.